It's the final chapter of the college football playoff.
It comes down to this.
Miami's unmatched grit and tenacity through the postseason has led them home. The national title now within reach.
They are confident. They are battle-tested.
Undefeated Indiana, led by Chris Signetti and Heisman winner Fernando Mendoza, have the chance to take home their first title and claim college football immortality.
The most remarkable turnaround in the history of college football.
The College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Carvana's so easy, just a click, and we've got ourselves a car. See?
So many cars. That's a click-tastic inventory.
And check out the financing options. Payments to fit our budget. I mean, that's...
Clickonomics 101.
Delivery to our door?
Just a hop, skip, and a click away.
And what?
No better feeling than when everything just... clicks. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
The Rental family's taken a rip at the Bone Temple, and Hamnet's a giant with the voice of Hind Rajab. I'm Van Connor.
And I'm Adam Ball, and this is Offscreen, your 7-day guide to everything movies.
Boom.
Hello, and welcome back to the very first episode of Offscreen in 2026. We have arrived. I know, right?
God, it's flown by, yeah.
I feel like I'm in some sort of movie like Terminator when I see 2026 written down. It still hasn't sunk in yet. It's a weird thing.
Aren't we? I think we are 3 years off the future when the future war is set in Terminator 2 and in the Terminator. I think that was 2029. It was LA 2029 in Terminator: The Future War. So we're not far off.
Funny we should be talking about this because from this year, at some point this year, droids are going into homes to do people's housework for them. They have been made and signed off. Can you believe that?
Are they actual? Are they actual droids though, or are they those person-controlled ones from the control center? Which I'm sorry, is not a droid.
No, these are ones that will do your housework.
Can you choose the skin? Like, can you make one look like Sydney Sweeney? Because
Wouldn't that be good?
I'd buy two of them. I'd have a Hillary Duff and a Lizzie Kaplan, like just around the flat, just tied up after me and attending to my needs. But
Hillary Duff's just doing the ironing.
Exactly, that's Hillary Duff doing the ironing. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
brilliant. All right.
So on which note, should we do movies?
Yeah, let's talk about the movies. So, as always, let's look at the UK and Ireland current top 10 this week. At number 10, it's Labyrinth, 40th anniversary. It's been out a week and 320 grand. I mean, like you say with these sorts of things, there are always the cult followers for these massive movies.
You never need to take Labyrinth out of cinemas. Just leave it in. People turn up and see. People love Labyrinth. I mean, I held a screening for it about 2 years ago at the local music venue in Leighton Buzzard, and it's the most successful one of those I've ever done. Like, it really was.
Wow.
It was largely women of all ages in Labyrinth t-shirts, quoting and singing along with the movie the entire way through. It was a great time. I can't recommend it highly. If you get the chance to watch Labyrinth, like in a public space with an audience, absolutely do. It's a great time.
So number 9 is Giant. That's been out a week. 370,000 taken.
Well, we are going to review this one in a short while, so we'll leave this one. I think we also have to leave Hamnet, which is further up the list. But we'll leave Giant and Hamnet, and we will give those proper looks in a little while.
At number 8, I'm not sure if you've seen this one or not. Song Sung Blue. It's been out for 3 weeks now.
We reviewed it on the last show, I think, last year.
Oh, we did.
This was the Hugh Jackman, Kate Hudson, Neil Diamond tribute act, or was it Neil Diamond? What did he call it? Interpretation. That was what it was. And I'll be honest with you, it is a film that sticks with you because it is really charming. Like, I've seen clips here and there, like over the Christmas period. And I thought, actually, it is a sweet movie. It does kind of stick with you.
Well, that's taken 1.8 million. At number 7, 6.8 million. Anaconda. It's been out 4 weeks now.
Right. Famous. I don't know if you remember this. They famously did not press show this because, and I believe the quote I got from Sony and other people did was as well, we're expecting a late print on this one, so there isn't time to screen it. That was, I think, 10 days before we all stopped for Christmas. And then the following day they held the US premiere. And you genuinely find yourself wondering what it was they were watching at the premiere, if it's that late a printing out time show. Sure. I mean, we got shown Cats like a day after it got actually finished. So, yeah, sure, I believe you. I don't know any human beings who've actually seen this version of Anaconda, so I couldn't say anything. I'm not paying my own money to just go and randomly see Anaconda, a movie so clearly bad that they didn't actually bother to show it to the press. It's not really. I'm not racing out for this one.
Yeah, hopefully it's a bit better than Cats as well.
Sad.
Right, we'll move over that one. Smudge over it. Number 6, the SpongeBob movie Search for SquarePants. I didn't even know that this was happening.
Well, I mean, I have to smudge over this one as well because it's been distributed by Paramount. So let's leave that there. It's new year, new me. I'm not going to rag on Paramount. They got their own stuff to deal with. You know what I mean? They got stuff going on themselves. They can deal with that and not worry about me. Go on, then. What's number 5?
Number 5, Zootropolis 2, which of course in this country isn't Zootropolis, is it? It's called Zootopia. Yeah.
Right, you've had like a month off from this show. Have you introduced your son to the Zootropolis universe yet?
Not after all of his Christmas presents. He's just been playing on those. Let's be honest. He's
You've
not
got
going to
that
watch a
wonderful.
movie.
Didn't you get a wonderful new Android projector over the holiday period? Did I see?
I did last week.
Yeah. There you go. And Zootopia, perfect movie. You and your son just, toast some marshmallows, get the hot chocolates going, sit down in the evening, put the first Zootopia on, and revel in the knowledge that as good as the first one is, the second one, which is not quite as good, but it's still decent, I think it's shortly set to become the most successful English language American animated movie ever made.
Wow.
True story. Yeah,
Okay.
and it's going to take that record from Inside Out 2.
If that's not a reason to watch it, I don't know what is. Number 4, Marty Supreme. It's been out 3 weeks, 9.4 million taken on that one. Oh, I didn't say Zootropolis 2, by the way, 7 weeks, nearly 30 million quid.
Yeah, it's making all the money.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it was one of the easiest bets of 2025 was which movies are going to make money. It was Avatar and Zootopia. They were the two that were going to make money. They were the 2 guaranteed hits of last year.
But Marty Supreme, 3 weeks, 9.4.
I can't stand it. I honestly, I can't stand this movie. I think this movie's absolute tosh. Absolute cardigan fodder twaddle. And I went on Times Radio last week for the Golden Globes. I was talking at the Golden Globes with Daryl Morris as a friend. And I just got really cynical and just started saying the quiet stuff out loud. And because he asked me about One Battle After Another, Mike Supreme, my response is, well, they're both complete crap. They're both of interest only to the most nauseating cardigans you've ever met in your life. Expect 5 Oscar nominations and they'll win everything they're nominated for tonight. Wouldn't you know it? I wasn't wrong.
Don't you love it when you predict things correctly?
Oh, God, it's agonisingly dull and ponderous. And it really... Do you know what it is? It's the attitude of the character that Timothée Chalamet plays applies to the movie itself. And that's very much a movie that insists upon itself in its own brilliance. The problem is, it ain't any of that. So, no, hell with this movie, not a fan.
You're going to say pretty much the same about the next. At number 3, it's Avatar Fire and Ash, 4 weeks, 35.8 million.
I can't really hate on Avatar 3. Because, it's no better or worse than Avatar and Avatar 2. And I'm just like, okay, it's more of the same. It's not like boring. It's uninteresting, but it's not boring. And it's nice to look at. I'm looking at a screensaver with like soap opera level writing in space and dances with Smurfs. And, cool. If you're into that, you're going to love this. And if you're not, you're going to think about it exactly the same you thought of 1 and 2. And yes, I can't muster up much hate for Avatar Fire and Ash, to be really honest, because I forgot it. Within a few days of seeing it, I'd forgotten. I had to go on Wikipedia. This is a true story. I had to go on Wikipedia before one of the reviews I did. It was one of the later reviews. I had to go on Wikipedia and read the plot back because I had actually forgotten a lot of the actual plot movements of it. It's just inconsequential. I don't care. I'm watching a PlayStation cutscene for 3.5 hours. There's no weight to this.
At number 2, it's Hamnet. It's been out a week, 3.2 million on that one. Not bad.
Yeah, we shall talk about that shortly as well. That's one of the ones we've been saving for a full review for this week. But give us our number 1, sir. Who's at number 1?
The Housemaid is at number 1. It's been out for 3 weeks and it's already on 17.8 million.
It is, and it's such good fun. It is trash. It is absolutely. It's like a Simple Favor level trash, and I loved it. I had a great time with it, and it's Amanda Seyfried doing the nutty thing, and Sydney Sweeney in a 90s style psycho thriller, and it's got that sort of filthiness that these movies had to have back then. You know, where there's one completely gratuitous, like just needlessly gratuitous sex scene with a bit of boob, you know, that kind of thing. It's absolutely one of those, and you come away from it at the end thinking, of course there are sequels in the to the novel, because they're going to make more of these. They'll absolutely, it'll suck just like Another Simple Favor did, but I can see why you'd want to make more of them. Good fun. I enjoyed it.
Well, that's the UK and Ireland top 10 for this week, the first one of 2026 on Off Screen. We're going to dive into our first movie now. Now, I will confess, I started watching this, but it had been a long day and I did fall asleep halfway through. But I will also add, that is not because I thought it was boring. I actually thought it was really good. It's called Rental Family. It's a comedy, drama, coming of age kind of movie. And I'll let you take it away because I quite enjoyed what I've seen so far.
Do you know what? You hit the comedy drama thing there. Best way to leave this. This is a dramedy, like a really sweet, 12A rated, as well, it's worth noting. Dramedy set in Tokyo, starring Brendan Fraser. And it's written by and directed by Hikari, filmmaker named Hikari, Japanese lady. And it's also Brendan Fraser's first acting role, I think, first proper lead role since winning the Oscar for The Whale 2 years ago. So, and you look at the film, you think, I can see this would have taken a while to sort of get in because he would have gone and done the research for this. And the reason I say that is because it is about a sort of middle-aged, over-the-hill American expat actor in Tokyo, down on his luck, has no one in his life, has nothing really, and takes a job at this company called Rental Family. Because I don't know if you're aware of this very bizarre to you and me, I'm sure it makes everyday thing in Tokyo, a service in which people can hire actors to fill roles in their life, like to play the dead dad that they never got to make peace with, or in the case of one young woman that he meets early on in the movie, a young lesbian woman who is secretly married, but because of the cultural norms of things, is not allowed to be out and proud. So she hires him to be a fake husband before she and the wife, what do you call it? Move to Canada. Emigrate to Canada for work. So, the family will never know, but they know she's married, etc. That kind of a service. And through this, he starts to find a sense of purpose that he has never actually had before. Being in people's lives in this weirdly disposable way, where you have to be convincing with all the emotion, but then when you're done, you have to kind of walk away. And he very quickly discovers that he's maybe not the best person at the walking away part. So here's a clip. This is him talking to one of his colleagues about the nature of their gig.
You knew the situation. You knew we were her last option, and you still nearly backed out.
But I didn't.
But you would have. See, you're just a gaijin. You will never understand how things work here.
You're right, I am gaijin, but Japan is my home now. And I want to try to understand. Why do you do this?
What?
This job. You're so passionate about it. Why?
It's the way these people look at you. Like they've been waiting for you their whole lives. Despite everything Dada says, these people stay with you.
As I said, I really enjoyed up to the bit that I fell asleep. And I'm not going to give anything away, but I fell asleep at a point where I could tell it was about to get emotional. And I knew that was coming. And then the next thing I know, I'm waking up and it's 6 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to watch that this weekend.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, because we have the award screen, obviously. That's the beauty of award season. But it's weird, though, like you said, it was about to get really emotional. It does that several times, so you have to narrow that one down. Very moving movie, a very moving film that I think really wouldn't work in anywhere near this capacity without Brendan Fraser, who is able to sell the sort of orgy shucks that this needs to not tip over into being quite depraved, because it is from a Western perspective. It's from it's an objective thing. It's from his perspective, and as such, it comes with that kind of viewpoint. And if the casting were in any real other direction, I don't think that would balance quite as well. But it has a really strong sense of the cultural alienation as well. It manages to do that without feeling particularly aggressive about it, kind of feeling very naturalistic and offhand about its sort of cultural distance. And in that way, it actually did remind me of Lost in Translation, what made Lost in Translation as good as it was 20 years ago. It was 22 years Lost in Translation, with Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson, in case you're wondering how long Scarlett Johansson's been in our lives now. So I think if you were a fan of Lost in Translation, definitely seek this out, because it's not as strong a companion piece, but I think it's more of a sort of a crowd-pleasing companion piece to Lost in Translation. So I would definitely factor it in for that wonderful sense of the location, of the environment, and I just really fell for these characters. I thought the writing for all these characters was just absolutely superb, and there's a lot that is sort of it's shown to you and never said, if you know what I mean. It's left deep for to you to kind of interpret and process that one plot movement in particular. And I say I was taken in by it. I found it quite charming and also really moving.
I thought Brendan Fraser was brilliant for the amount that I saw of it. Just his acting in it was just brilliant, like the pauses and you could always see him thinking, and it was really good. So I'll finish that one this week. But if you want to see Rental Family, you can, because Rental Family is out in cinemas from today. Right, still to come, we are going to look at the new 28 years later, The Bone Temple, in a minute, which I cannot wait to hear what Van thought about. And also we'll see what he thought of Giant. Stay where you are.
Kraft Mac and Cheese is better than 90s hip-hop. We'll remind you of your childhood without making you feel incredibly old. Kraft Mac and Cheese. Best thing ever.
Hello and welcome back to Off Screen then. 28 years later, The Bone Temple in a minute. But before that, let's dive into the movie called Giant. Now, this is a boxing docudrama, so this interests me slightly.
Yeah, I'm always confused when they say docudrama, because there's bugger all docu element about this, other than it's based on a true story. Now, and of course, that true story is of Prince Nazim Hamnet. Former British featherweight champion of the world, Prince Nazim Hamnet. I'm a Sheffield boy, so of course there's a little bit of sort of anecdotal Naz knowledge I seem to have retained for some reason. This, however, focuses on Naz through the prism of his relationship with his mentor and trainer, Brendan Ingle, who's played for the screen by Pierce Brosnan. Naz is played by Amir Al-Masri, Egyptian actor. And so it is about the relationship between young Naz, who is just 7 years old when he's taken into the boxing gym by Brendan Ingle, and he goes on to become featherweight champion of the world, but not without coming at the expense of his relationship with the man that he holds dearly. So have a listen. This is a clip from Giant.
Are you the Irishman that runs the boxing gym? My children, they are having trouble at school.
How'd you get that cut on your lip?
See when you got that bent nose?
You're unbelievable.
100 wannabe fighters have walked through that door. You've got what they haven't. And they hate you because you're different.
I'll just ignore him.
Embrace it. It'll make you stronger. You could be champion of the world. I'll give every inch of my heart. If he can fight like this now, his size, his age, who's going to stop him when he's a man?
There he is, the new Ali. Ali Farber, more like.
It's working.
It's hardly an Adidas commercial.
See, I love stuff like this because in your third sentence, I learned something straight away, saying that the first time he went into a gym, he was 7 years old. So, that's drawn me in already. I want to know more straight away.
Actually, do you know the weird part? There's stuff even I learned in this as well. Like, I didn't know, because I lived next to the gym that he was trained in. It was the, oh God, what was it called? I can't. They changed the name anyway to the Ingle Boxing Gym. Oh, it was the Winkerbank. It was the Winkerbank Boxing Gym that I knew it as, and evidently they changed the name over the years to reflect Brendan Ingle as well. And so I learned stuff, and I'm kind of immersed in this. But I thought this was a really sweet movie. It's not a revelatory thing, but it's actually quite a well executed version of what it is, which is it's just a story of one man's rise to fame, and now it drives a wedge between himself and the man who put him there. It's that kind of standard story, but the performances are very good. It's especially Pierce Brosnan, who's absolutely heartbreaking. This keeps a sense of stoicism, but actually has this way of funneling heartbreak through the cracks in that is actually really compelling. And Anir Al-Masri as well, I thought was quite a captivating take on Naz, without necessarily descending into the level of parody that you so clearly know would be, irresistible to do if you were taking on the job. This is the second version of this film that was going to be made. The first version, a friend of mine was going to be working on, I think, from what I'm told. And it was going to star Paddy Considine and Mina Massoud, young actor from the 2019 Guy Ritchie Aladdin remake. And then the funding fell apart or something like that. And years went by and it got restructured and became this version with Brosnan and El Masri. And this doesn't feel like the premium version that necessarily would have been. But it's still very entertaining. It's still very good. It still pulls at the old heartstrings. And it's got a bit of a manipulative move towards the end. And it's one of those where you sit there and think, okay, it's got NASA's name all over it like a producer. I can kind of understand why it took that little move. It's a level of self-awareness I didn't think the man was actually capable of, for sure. But I did think it was really good. I'd recommend it. I think you'll love it. I think you will have a great time watching this.
Yeah, definitely sounds like something I'd enjoy. So if you would enjoy it as well, you can, because Giant is out in cinemas from today.
Oh, it's now.
Right
then. That was last week.
Yeah, sorry, it was, wasn't it? Yeah, we've already spoken about it before as well. So yeah, it's out now. Right, I've been looking forward to this one. I saw the second one,
Third
28
one.
years later, in 4DX, which literally rattled my bones, and the ending just made you really want to know what was happening next. And it's back. So it's the third one now, 28 years later.
No, this is the fourth one.
Oh, it's the fourth
days,
one?
Weeks,
of course.
years bone. That's how it goes.
Oh my goodness me. Yeah, the fourth one. 28 years later, The Bone Temple. So I'm going to sit back and listen to what you say about it now.
Okay, so this is the second part of the trilogy that began with 28 years later, this is all kind of one continuous story, largely centering around the young boy Spike. And in the first movie, it was about his sort of coming of age thing, finding himself on the mainland alone by the end of it, having lost his mother. He was then taken in, if you recall, by a gang who we come to know as the Jimmies, who are led by Jimmy, played by Jack O'Connell. And his, he has a girlfriend named Jemima. He has a mate named Jimmy Inc. and a mate named Jimmy Fox. And every one of the gang is Jimmy something. And they're all dressed up in, let's just say, very specific tracksuits and levels of jewelry and long hair and sunglasses. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You start to get the inspiration. I'm being subtle here. And they take Spike in. So in this movie, we basically run two counter plots. We have the story of Spike being taken in by this satanic cult in the post-zombie apocalypse wasteland of Britain. And then we also have the story of Dr. Kelson from the first movie, the Ray Fiennes character, who is the man that was maintaining the Bone Temple as a monument to the fall of civilization. In this movie, he notices that one of the alphas of the infected, in the last movie we established that they had alphas, leaders of the pack.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, there's one specific one that he names Samson, and Samson seems to keep coming back to the Bone Temple every night, and he drugs him with morphine and then drags him away every time. Because he won't actually outright kill them. So he drugs him with morphine, then drags Samson away, and then the next night Samson returns. Until Kelso gets an idea that leads to him exploring just what's going on in the minds of the infected. That's all I'm going to say. And it's about how these two stories come to be intertwined. So I've got a clip for you. This is from 28 years later, The Bone Temple.
I remember details, events and people. The world had an order.
What's your name?
Spike.
No, I think your name is Jimmy.
The foundations. They seemed unshakable.
I can't tell you how excited I am to actually get to see this at some point soon. I just can't wait. Now, just very quickly, the whole Jimmy thing, is that a cultural reference? Is that why they've done that?
They seem to have specifically taken their design aesthetic from that person. Yes, that seems to be the case. As you heard in the clip, he literally names everyone Jimmy surname. You know what I mean? Like, they get and then another name. And as I have explained to you before, when we talked about this the last time around, in the 28 Days Later universe, that person's true story was never revealed. Okay, so that's still a known personality and a great warrior for charity in the 28 Days Later universe, which only goes to confirm really how dark and horrible the 28 Days Later universe really is. And if you like the last one, you're going to absolutely love this. I say it's more of the same kind of thing as the last one, which versus the first and the second. 28 years later felt like a lot quieter, a lot more human. A story. It was more of a coming-of-age story. And this follows that trend. It's not like the first two at all. It's more like the last one, which is we are on a coming-of-age journey. There is some world-building in there through the Ralph Fiennes character and Samsung. There is stuff in there that does advance the story forward just a smidge, but this isn't the great big Dark Knight trilogy filler that you kind of hope it would be. It's directed by Nia DaCosta as well, which is an interesting choice for this one because I actually think she might be the most inventive director that we've had in there. And that's saying something when you consider everything that Danny Boyle pulled off in the last one, which was, again, really something. It's a series that does seem to attract directors who come to play, and every one is better than the last in that regard, give or take the second one. I think that was Juan Carlos Fresnadilla in 2007, I believe, for 28 weeks later, but don't quote me. Might be JC Bayona. No, I think it was Juan Fresnadilla, I think it was. But I do think visually, cinematography, stylistically, this works really solidly. Like I say, there is some world building in there. And I have questions, but then again, I did last time around. You know, there were questions like, oh man, I really need to know where that's going to go. And I would argue that this is done in as good a way. There is a sting on the end of this to give you an indication as to what's to come next in the way the last one did, and you will be left chomping at the bit for it because I can't spoil it for you. But I can only say that if you're a fan of this series, and I emphasize the word series, you're gonna like the ending of this. So there you go. In fact, go and see it in 40x again. You'll love it.
I think it's worth doing that, isn't it? Because that's how I saw the last one. And I mean, I'm assuming this has got as many like moments where I'm going to be clawing at the armrests.
Yeah, it's still got those moments. I say this is a return to the human darkness of the series. This is more in line with the soldiers in the first movie, how they had sort of gone savage. You kind of get that with the Jimmies here, only instead of Lord of the Flies military men, it's satanic cult. They are a cult of Satanists in this case. As well, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I thought that there is solid life in this. If I have a complaint about it, it's that maybe it's starting to feel a bit too close to The Walking Dead, but that's not really its own. That's not really its fault. That's kind of the fault of 15 years of The Walking Dead. It can't be helped.
Well, if you want to check out 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, you can, because that is out from today. Right, next then, we're going to look at Hamnet, and I'm guessing is it the RIP or the RIP?
It's the RIP.
Oh, I'll see what that means next. Hello and welcome back to Off Screen then. Let's move swiftly on to our next two movies then. We're going to look at The Rip in a second. But first, if you are any kind of a fan of Shakespeare, this will be right up your street. It's called Hamnet, and it's got a connection to Shakespeare. It's kind of all I know, Van.
Well, I mean, okay, the story for fans of history is that Hamnet was the name of Shakespeare's son. A son he lost tragically at a young age to plague. And in grieving said son, Shakespeare processed this grief by writing a certain play you may have heard of called, well, Hamlet. So this is the story of his relationship with the son, how his son passed, how he wrote that play, but also about the relationship between Shakespeare and his wife. Now, he's played for the screen by Paul Mescal from Gladiator 2 and to Normal People, and she is played by Jessie Buckley. She won the Golden Globe this past week. Another thing I cynically predicted with Daryl Morris, by the way.
You did.
I really cynically went for it as well.
Yeah.
So much of what I said happened.
Yeah, stop predicting things that are negative, please.
The best part is I thought I was being abusive. Anyway, she deserves every award win for this anyway, but I'll get to that. So it's about the relationship between the two and how, in the loss of their son, they go about grieving him in very different and very specific ways. Have a listen. This is him. This is Shakespeare and Son early on.
Will we go with you this time?
No, not yet. Hey, I'll miss you. But I have to go, you understand?
I know. I understand.
That's good. Because I need you to look after your mother and your sisters. Will you do that?
Yes.
Will you be brave?
Yes.
Yes. Will you be brave?
Yes.
Will you be brave?
Yes! Yes, I'll be brave! I'll be brave. I'll be brave.
I won't lie, I'm quite happy that this is in traditional English language and not Shakespearean, because I've seen many Shakespeare plays, and I love it when it's an actual play. But for a movie, I think it needs to be how it is.
Yeah, I mean, I had a similar thought, actually, because it's co-written and it's directed by Chloe Zhao, who made Nomadland and Pale Rider, and of course Marvel's Eternals, which I think is currently held as the lowest rated thing that she's directed, which I find disheartening personally. I think the Eternals is underrated. But actually, when it's coming from Chloe Zhao, this is going to be a very deep, very sorrowful, very elegiac experience. And she delivers on that. But it is in her writing that she pulls this off. And it's because she does mine solid drama out of these characters, as she always does. You look at Nomadland, you look at even Eternals, and I'm sorry, Eternals is underrated. And you look at how she mines that kind of drama, and also the performance she gets for it. Buckley is on absolute fire here. Like this is one of those performances you watch, Buckley in Hamnet, and you think, there's nothing like this year. I mean, I watched it obviously last year. This came out on the 9th of January. I watched it last year. And I've not seen anything like this all year. This is a really great performance. This is a performance that, even if it doesn't win the Oscar, it has to get nominated because it needs to be recognized as the absolute barnstormer that it really is. She's absolutely. I think the success of the film is down to Jessie Buckley. Outside of that, there is a pacing issue with the first hour. I think the first hour drags a bit too much, and then as a result, the second hour feels overloaded. Whereas it's not quite portioned out well, with a good solid enough balance. It does just feel like they kind of put it all in the back end, and the movie just feels unbalanced because of that. I think that's a shame. And if that could have been sped up, I think you'd be talking about taking a 4-star movie up to a 5 with this one. But as it is a 4-star time, and Buckley is absolutely tremendous.
Well, if you want to see it, it's already out. Just look for Hamnet. Right then, let's look at The Rip. It's on Netflix from today, and that's about all I know. So, this is a new movie directed by Joe Carnahan, which are words that if you say aloud in front of me, you immediately get me up like a meerkat. Okay, I honestly, I perk up immediately when I hear the words directed by Joe Carnahan. I'm a big Joe Carnahan fan. For your reference, presumably would be best known, I think, as the director of The Grey. The Liam Neeson movie with the wolves. Oh, yes.
Yeah. He makes very manly movies about manly men doing manly things and being kind of manly emotional about it. That's what manly man Joe Carnahan makes. Like, he shouldn't be Carnahan, he should be Carnaman, because his movie's all about manliness. Anyway.
Why is Jason Statham not in this then?
He doesn't need Jason Statham. He went and got Matt Damon and Ben Affleck instead. Right? Who have also involved in producing this. They've done this with the artist equity company, so they've come up with a revolutionary new sort of profit sharing system for this. So everybody involved in the movie gets a cut of everything it makes. Like even the cameraman, the coffee runner on the set. Everybody's getting an equal sort of share of anything made off this movie, kind of thing. It stars Affleck and Damon as two members of a tactical narcotics team, a TNT squad in Florida. I think they're Miami-Dade cops. They get a tip-off one day about a house that has money hidden inside. Has a relatively small amount, like 300 grand hidden inside it. They show up acting on this tip, only to discover there's a lot more than 300 grand in there. And before you can know it, tensions are flaring, suspicions are raised, everyone's side-eyeing each other, wondering just what their motives are. And if that wasn't bad enough, then the bloody cartels show up and start trying to lay the place to rubble to try and get to their cash. But it doesn't help trying to fight them off if you don't trust each other inside to begin with. So have a listen to this clip. This is Affleck taking certain suspicions to his team leader, Matty D.
When I asked you upstairs, how much was the Crime Stopper tip for? You said about 300,000.
That's right.
No, wrong. Because whoever just called on the phone said no one needs to die in there for 150K.
The guy on the phone said 150K?
Yeah. So why you tell me it's twice that, man? Tell me what's going on, Dane.
Once more, for clarity, JD. This is my crime scene. I will run it the way I see fit.
You are not running. What you plan to do is torch what's left of my career.
I mean, that sounds great. I'm assuming there is loads of action to go with it.
Oh, there's some great shootouts and things in it. It's a manly movie. I said it, didn't I? It's got manly shootouts for manly men. I mean, it's the perfect January movie. It really is. Like, you know, when you get every January, we need this every January. We need a Statham movie, or a Gerard Butler movie, or we need a Joe Carnahan movie, or we need an S. Craig Zahler movie. You need a manly man movie in January, preferably as dumb as possible. You know, just as a palate cleanser for the year to start you off right. In the US, it's worth noting they have both a Statham movie and a Butler movie in addition to this month. We don't get them, but they do. The shootouts are very clearly inspired by like Heat, like they want to be quote unquote real shootouts. It's very much one of those, and this would play, I think, very well to the Den of Thieves crowd. I mean, it's closer to Den of Thieves than it is to Den of Thieves and the 2016 Arnold Schwarzenegger movie Sabotage as well. It's closer to those two than it is, for instance, to Heat, but you can see where it's drawing inspiration. It's one of those as well where it's got like a mystery whodunit element, and it's just got the most bloody obvious suspect in the universe. I mean, when they unveil like who the traitor is, kind of, you're like, it's so glaringly obvious from the second you brought this person into the movie, because why the hell else were you hiring that person for that role? It made no sense. It's one of those, you know what I mean? It's like, why is that person in that one scene and like nowhere else? Like, oh, okay, I get it now. But I really liked it. I was really swept away in the sort of thriller, the pulse-pounding, very sweaty, musky, manly man thriller aspect of it. I thought, actually, this is bloody good fun. Like, I was hooked. So much so that I got a text asking me about dinner as I was watching this movie, and I completely ignored. I didn't even look at my phone for the 2 hours this was on, and I got in trouble afterwards. Like, a text asking about dinner. Like, oh, I'm really sorry. I was watching the Affleck movie, and it was really good.
That's always a good sign. If your phone is down for the whole movie, it's a good sign.
Yeah, because obviously it's a Netflix movie, so they send you you have a special Netflix kind of tile in your account that is the preview content, and so you have to watch it at home, kind of thing. And yeah, so obviously during a Netflix screen link at home, more often than not you will get your phone up. No, didn't once in this. I bloody loved this. I will watch it now that it's actually out, like properly streaming. I will watch this again, but what I might do is I might double it up with. I want to rewatch Den of Thieves and Den of Thieves 2 Pantera, so I might just shove this in in there as like part 3 for that as well.
Why not? It sounds brilliant. Honestly, it sounds like a great sort of manly, action-packed movie.
Oh yeah, it really is.
So if you fancy it, search for The Rip on Netflix. It is out from today. All right, one movie left. We're going to see what Van thought of The Voice of Hind Rajab next.
I had that dream again. My small business needs to hire, but I don't use LinkedIn, and I hire an energy vampire. But also, they're a literal vampire. And suddenly, my team is spending all their time sharpening wooden stakes and buying bulk silver and rehearsing ancient chants, and then I wake up.
Don't let hiring nightmares ruin your dreams. LinkedIn Jobs' new AI assistant takes insights from over 1 billion professionals to create a short list of the best fits for you. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/quality. Start hiring today with LinkedIn.
Hello and welcome back to Off Screen for our final movie this week. We're going to look at The Voice of Hind Rajab. I know absolutely nothing about this apart from it's out in cinemas from today.
Well, actually, I knew nothing about it either, and I'm told that that makes us bad people, actually, because this went viral about 2 years ago. This is the story of, I think she was a 6-year-old girl, Hind Rajab, referred to as Hanudi, I believe, colloquially, and she was the sole survivor of an attack in Gaza. She was trying to evacuate from her home with her family in a car, with her uncle, her auntie, and her cousins in a car from their home in Gaza when Israeli troops allegedly attacked the vehicle and killed everyone inside except for this 6-year-old girl.
Wow.
Whose recordings, because of the efforts that were taken and the struggle that they had trying to get an ambulance to her in time, they had to put her recordings onto social media to try and drum up pressure and support for them and pressure on various government officials and things like that to allow the ambulance through. So the story was out there in the world, like it was put out to the world, like as it was happening by the Red Crescent, what we would know as the Red Cross, but obviously in Palestine is known as the Red Crescent for cultural reasons. Now, the movie tells this story from the perspective of the call center workers for the Red Crescent, who are 50 miles away from Gaza in Palestine in like a relatively nice office. This is all going off like an hour away from them, and they have had the ambulance calls for Gaza diverted through to them. And one man takes the call from this 6-year-old girl. Well, initially it's from her uncle in Germany, I believe. From her uncle, her other uncle in Germany, asking, I think my family have been attacked, can you call and find out? And he does, and he finds himself on the phone with a 6-year-old girl, trying to talk her through, waiting for them to be able to safely send an ambulance past military checkpoints with clearance that the Israeli army aren't going to shoot them, etc. And as if that's not enough, as everybody in the call center office is struggling with the emotional and mental weight of what it is they're actually dealing with and breaking down every 10 minutes, because you would, if you had to talk a 6-year-old girl through this, that's going to take it out of you. But as they're dealing with all that, if that's not enough, them dealing with all that, the movie takes the extra step of structuring itself so that the actual calls from the real event are used as the girl in the movie. So they have actors playing, the real people she was talking to, and occasionally when it cuts to the audio wave, you hear the real person. And this also reaches a stage where at one point in the movie, someone takes out a phone and is filming them in the room. And as the phone moves over them, the view on the screen is of the real people moving in real time to the actual actors and saying the things that the actors say like that. They have integrated the true story into the dramatization. Now that's, going back to an earlier point, that would be what we call a docudrama in my books. Yeah, right. So we haven't got a clip for obvious subtitled reasons. I will say, though, this is tremendous. I didn't know what I was in for with this. I didn't know the story, which, that's mea culpa. I appreciate a lot more people than me will know the story. But not knowing the story I thought, oh wow, okay, that was actually quite a really shocking, very harrowing story. For reasons I can't quite understand, it ends a bit abruptly. For what it needs to do, I think it kind of just slams the brakes on rather than taking a gentler stop and allowing you to process. I think it slams rather than, paces. And I think that was a mistake. But outside of that, I can fault nothing else about the film. Now, the performances in it are absolutely brilliant. Now, these are not actors I know from other things. You say Motez Malhiz plays Omar, the call center worker who initially takes the call. You've got Saja Kalani as really the shoulder he has to lean on, who in turn kind of swaps the roles with him. But I actually think as well, you have to give special plaudits to Anna Hillel, who plays the boss, kind of the boss of the Red Crescent Center, who's kind of there organising it. And although he's dealing with the bureaucracy of it, and he's dealing with it kind of badly, you sort of understand the humanity of it. It's a very well-judged performance. Despite the fact that it must have been really hard to interpret these people as characters, because you have to be so subscriptive to the truth in this one. There's no room for embellishment in it because you're using the actual recordings. You know what I mean? So you have to stick to every single word. And there's very few scenes, for instance, that take place away from microphones where there wouldn't be a record. You know what I mean? So there is a subscription and a requirement to the truth in there, and as such, it makes it a really moving, really harrowing, really heartbreaking film. Like there's no shortage of tears in this one. Like you will just feel destroyed watching this, just for this little girl, and knowing that what you're hearing is the real little girl. Like that's the real Hind Rajab. It's something. Because it's one thing to watch a movie and have a performance. It's a very different thing when you're watching what feels ostensibly like a narrative film, but you're having that reality put to you.
That's the bit that really draws me in on this, is because it's you're hearing the real stuff. You're going to see, like you say, the video clip and what a story. But I think that adds something to it, having the real voice there. It must. I guess it adds a sense of I guess sadness that you're actually hearing the real voice of the 6-year-old in that turmoil at that moment.
Yeah, I mean, even outside of Hanudi herself, the story of just what these call center workers go through in that position, it's honestly so sad. It's such a tragic job that they have to have the on-site counselor, who's obviously a primary figure in the office. They have to have an on-site counselor because this happens hourly. Like they have a tradition and a process of how to mourn and how to deal with it, and it's seeing it spelled out in the way that this movie does, which obviously has to be relatively true to life given the nature of it. That will take something out of you. It's a movie you feel drained afterwards to an extent because it doesn't let up. It's not a long movie either. Like it's quite punchy. It's down to it's literally a minute shy of an hour and a half.
Wow.
And it's not exactly real time, but it goes through, I think it's something like 4 hours. It goes to give or take about 4 hours of these people's lives. But I would say I know your aversion to subtitled films, but wow, this is one. It is apparently a contender for the Best International Feature Oscar.
I feel like I could get over the subtitles with something as gripping as this, if I'm honest. I really do, and I think a lot of people would probably feel the same.
Yeah, it's one that you couldn't adapt for another country, obviously, because of the specificity of where in the world this is taking place and the region in which it's set. You couldn't do this anywhere else. You couldn't do this story anywhere else, and certainly not with this kind of authenticity either. So I say, really unmissable stuff, and do watch. I think we're a week off the Oscar nomination. I think the Oscar nominations are next week. I think they're next week. Expect to hear about this one in the Best International Feature category.
Well, you can check The Voice of Hind Rajab out in cinemas from today. Right, before we wrap up the first off-screen of 2026, let's talk about Movie of the Week. I reckon you're going to go for either 28 Years Later or Rental Family. That's what I think.
I'm going to shock you. I'm going to go with The Rip.
Really? Wow.
I'm going to go with the Netflix movie. I bloody love The Rip. I really thought it was
That shocked me. That shocked me.
You know what? I was just watching it thinking, Christ, we just don't make films like this that often anymore. Oh, a proper mid-budget for the adults action thriller. But less of the action, more of the thriller. Oh, man, this takes me back. I miss the 90s. You know, it was very much that kind of a movie.
Well, I think that's probably one of the first times we've had Movie of the Week being something that's available to watch right now on Netflix, on streaming.
Yeah, exactly, right? How weird is that? Like, weird start to the year, but, you know, they have it.
There we go, then. Well, that's just about it, then. Let's look at next week, the history of sound we're going to look at.
Yeah, this is another one with Paul Mescal. We're going to review 2 movies with him in 2 weeks because we did Hamnet this week. I believe this is Paul Mescal and Josh O'Connor. So this is very much a team-up of the Brit hunks, as it were, right now. One that's out next week that I don't know if we'll actually get to see. There is no official press show that I know of. It's not on the schedule or anything. And it's Return to Silent Hill. You know the video game series Silent Hill on the PlayStation? Yeah, this would be the 3rd attempt to make a movie out of Silent Hill. And I don't really know any... Until I know one person. I know one person who likes any of the Silent Hill movies. Nobody otherwise seems to like this crap, but they keep doing it. I mean, I presume it must have its fans somewhere. We've also got Saipan next week, H is for Hawk, and the one that I think is probably going to be the biggie of next week, weirdly, is the new Chris Pratt movie. It's a sci-fi thriller, no less, called Mercy, in which he's framed for murder and has to prove his innocence, I think in like a virtual reality chamber or something like that. But weird thing, they're actually press showing it to us in 3D. So,
wow,
can't explain that one.
Well, it must add something to it, otherwise why would they bother?
I've never seen a 3D movie at Sony HQ, like since they moved to the new office at Paddington. They've got these very nice new screening rooms. I've never seen a 3D movie at Sony HQ, and I saw the last Spider-Verse movie there, so weird thing.
Well, we shall see what you think of all of those next week. That is all we have time for this week on Off Screen. We will be back next week. Until then, I've been Adam Ball.
I've been Van Connor. Keep it cinematic, and we shall return.
This episode is brought to you by Dead Man's Wire, the new film from Roquet Entertainment. Dead Man's Wire is the incredible true story of the 1977 kidnapping that turned an aspiring entrepreneur into an outlaw folk hero. Directed by legendary filmmaker Gus Van Sant, Dead Man's Wire stars Bill Skarsgård, Dacre Montgomery, Carrie Elways, and Myha'la, with Coleman Domingo and Al Pacino. Now playing in select theaters everywhere January 16th.